And on a Sunday, my ticket is a one-way. I'm about to play in the sky. I always knew you'd make it one day. Today was such a fun day. And I think that's the first. Got back, I got out, free fly, just the sky and the love.
Yeah. Welcome back to WazzyCircus Radio, a show where I sit down with some of the most amazing people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. I don't think I got that one. All right. My guest today, I call him Future Man. He's a skydiver. They call him Captain Cryo around Austin. He owns Cryo Body Works. He's a 32-year-old entrepreneur. He owns a facility for total body recovery for acute and serious conditions. Looks like the basement of the Star Trek Enterprise, son. Like if you got sent to medical or something, you got like zapped or something, that they'd send you to Caulen Lauria. What up, man?
How are you doing?
Future dude.
Dude, thanks for having me on. I'm honored.
Thank you for being honored for being on, man. So you trying to live forever, dog? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is extending life.
Right.
And being able to maximize and enjoy it while you're doing it. There's no point in extending it if you can't enjoy it. That's
true, right? Yeah. So the base for Cryo Body Works, it's all about circulation? Is that right?
Well, actually, I started Cryo Body Works because, one, I wanted to recover myself, and two, I wanted to help promote the wellness of my athletes that I was helping train and manage, and also open that up to the average person. And so that's kind of the basis of how I got started with that. But I just had a pretty clear vision of what I needed to be able to recover serious conditions all the way just to general recovery, because athletes are just a really good test platform for pushing the boundaries and the limits of human potential and your musculoskeletal and mind-body health. And so you've got to focus on the full spectrum of your well-being in order to stay sustainable in high-performance athletics. So,
right. So you were training athletes.
Yeah.
So you were saying before the show, these treatments have been around for 30 years.
Definitely.
All of them, or just most of them?
Most of them. You know, so the primary signature treatment that we do is whole body cryotherapy.
Right.
Which most people, despite it being around for actually around 40 years,
really,
is something that everybody can benefit from, but not necessarily anybody really knows about it. Although now it's getting global press. Just this last weekend it was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And,
oh wow, good for you, man.
Yeah, and,
that's awesome. So you were doing, so these are things you were doing for athletes way before you opened Cryo. So you just kind of took what you were doing and just franchised it.
Yeah, the background that I have for training and managing athletes actually starts with Indy 500 winner Alexander Rossi. He's one of the premier athletes that I'm close friends with and helped train and manage as he was developing through the junior levels of formula racing in Europe. Also I've worked closely with Evan Strong. He's a Paralympic gold medal snowboarder and also a silver medalist as well. And Carolina Rodriguez, she's a pro 5 or 6 time world champion from Mexico for wakeboarding, and she was based in Austin for a while, and it's worked really, really well on those platforms. So it's like, it's awesome. It's we have a lot of success cases, but not everybody knows what we do. So so we're trying to build awareness, because if you've got something relating to ligaments, tendons, muscles, nerves, bone, cartilage, deep tissue, serious injuries, even like bone fractures, I will guarantee that we can help you heal faster than any other facility you've ever been to.
That's a bold claim.
Yeah, but I have
results.
Doctors who are our members. I have psychiatrists, I have nurses, and I have people who have fought and battled successfully cancer, and we've helped them in that process.
Awesome.
So, it goes to pretty deep capabilities.
Right. So you guys do a lot at this facility. We got a tour. It was awesome. We did the cryo, which was really amazing, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it's how did you? What made you put these? There was 5 treatments you have. There's infrared. There's the magnets. There's the B12 shots. There's the B complex vitamin shots. It's the full cryo.
I'll give you the full rundown.
Yeah.
It's whole body cryotherapy,
which is
an advanced ice bath where you're exposed for your maximum tolerance to cold temperatures. It's a form
What's the temperature in Fahrenheit?
For thermogenesis, it's 220 degrees below zero.
220 degrees below zero, people.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it, yo. Yo.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you come back and I'll watch you do that, and then maybe we'll get you to the next level.
What is the next level, dude?
The
hey,
ice
my
bath,
eyes. I'm not getting
ice.
the damn ice bath.
All right, you can watch me do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit. Yo, this shit is ridiculous, son. So, the cryo, I can see the benefits because I did sleep like a fucking log. It was awesome for sleep.
Did you?
Yeah, it was nice, man. Like the benefits are there. There's some instant ones, but it does wear off. I can see how you want to do it multiple times a week. I'm not doing no damn ice bath, man. I was a running back in college, not running back, wide receiver in college, and I fucked my ankle up from skateboarding, right? And I used to have to ice it after practice, and I fuck all of this. It's that bad. I don't like it that much.
It's interesting because especially when you're doing icing, it feels so excruciating. It's like, it's almost like the pain of the injury has to be worse than the pain of the ice bath for you to consciously just like, I'm going to submit myself to this amount of pain. But you do so after you're familiar with it, knowing that pain is gain. It's serious gain.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it. So that's why I was on cryo. I was freaking out on cryo. I know myself. I deal with trauma in a weird way. I have to process it. So after it took me a couple days. Like my first time floating in a float tank, it fucked me up. I couldn't finish. Right? I panicked. Right? I had to get out and I had to reset. And it took me a week to get over. Okay, I will do it again because I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I would stop breathing and I would sleep in space, and I'd wake up and they're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna die in here, right? Nobody's gonna know. I'm gonna drift off on some dream, and my body's gonna shut down, right? Because I was so removed from it. It was freaking me out. I was traveling the cosmos. I was like, oh, my body, and I jumped back in, so I had to leave. So I started getting to saunas. I want to get to your infrared saunas in a little bit, and I found the same anxiety in saunas, and that's how I kind of dealt with the anxiety of the float tank. And, I'd stay in there and I'd breathe and I'd get through it. I'm like, fuck it, die then. If you think you're gonna die, die. I'm like, oh, you're not gonna die. You're right? You never die. You just sit there and you get through it. So now I can float now because I dealt with it. The cryo, the cold was so intense.
A whole different test.
Yeah, and it was, and I made it through the whole thing. Like your boy, what was his name?
Demetrius.
It wasn't Demetrius.
Imad or Jaron.
Oh no, it was the other guy. He's kind of stocky.
That's Imad.
Imad, okay.
Yes.
Like he's like, man, I'll help you out. And whenever you want to get out, you can get out, right? And I was like, no, I got it. My legs, man, it felt like, I know they were. My muscles froze. Like it froze. It was negative 220 degrees. It was freezing cold. And it traumatized me for a little bit.
It just pushes you to the threshold. And for some people, we get them acclimated to what's their tolerance level. Somebody comes in with very fair skin, who maybe doesn't have a lot of sun exposure, so they don't have the protection layer of other people with a little bit more durable weathered skin. Their temperature exposure tolerance is going to be lower than somebody else's. So we will shorten their time, or we'll raise the temperature, and then they can slowly build up because collagen gets amplified in its production when you're exposed in a cryo chamber. And so that allows you to build up tolerance as you experience it in progression. You build up on the cumulative effects, and you can go to longer exposures.
So yeah, I'll have to do it again because for maybe 3 days afterwards, any cold, like I'd go jump in the lake.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cryo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like any tinge of cold, my body was like shocked, like, oh fuck, you're gonna freeze again. And I did, you know. But after I've dealt with that mentally, I want to go back and try it out. I can feel the benefits. It's just it is an overwhelming experience.
There's so much about it that I love, which is it's not just a physical experience. It is a mental experience. And in some ways, it pushes you into the spiritual as well, which is, you know, you talk about doing the sensory deprivation tanks, which I love, or the saunas, which, you know, these are different ways of exposing your body to the boundaries of your limits. You know, what are you capable of handling from a temperature standpoint, from a thermogenesis standpoint? What are you, and in a healthy way, of course.
Right, not a torturous way.
Right. Energy. What are you capable of exposing yourself to, like in skydiving for speed, you know? And we do other things like compression therapy. That's pressure. That's squeezing you, literally squeezing your body.
That's the boot, the sleeves that you put on your legs and your and it pumps. So here's my question. So cryo, what's happening is your blood's rushing from your limbs to protect your organs. Is that right?
Right. So when you're exposed to an extreme temperature change, your body's immediate response is to activate blood flow to protect your core temperature, because that's where those most visceral, important organs
temperature,
are.
Not okay, but they're all located in the same place.
You're right, because you know your fingers at that point, your body's not worried about.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's worried about your heart, and so you have a very simple, natural process of fight or flight response, of a hormone release that gets activated. So you're releasing norepinephrine, adrenaline.
Yeah, for real. When he's talking about is freaking out, you start to freak out.
Yes, definitely.
Your fight or flight. I was like, oh shit, should I shake and shiver to get warm? But like, no, that'd be defeating the purpose.
Definitely.
Right?
That
So
sympathetic nervous system jumps into engagement. And
it does.
And then it's like, and you have to control that. You have to breathe through it and not panic. Mm-hmm.
Like Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic, son.
Or like, you know, a caveman, your primal instincts kick in, and, you know, it's a really good mental test, as well as obviously a physical one, because, you know, that's where you really have to take control and breathe, connect to your body through breath.
Right.
And
it's that anxiety I was talking about I got in the float tank. It hits that fight or flight. Like, how do you control it? Like, it's, you know, it's skydiving is the same thing, going for the door. You know,
everybody has different levels of tolerance for fight or flight. And I particularly have a very high tolerance for that. And I like to think that I'm able to, I know I'm capable of doing that in a balanced way, because I do a lot of different exercises to maintain that in a healthy, sustainable way.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, you know, I think, you know, for skydiving itself, you see a lot of people who are really capable in the sport. They're very balanced. You know, they're not the junkies. You know, there's that term, the skydive junkies, right? Like that's real. And you know, there's other people that aren't really there for the right reasons. You know, they're not balanced, not keeping themselves in check. And you've got to, whenever you're doing something extreme, whether it's...
What do you mean? Let's talk about that. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think, you know, I see some grumpy people skydiving occasionally. But, you know, this is supposed to be something fun.
Right, yeah.
And if you're if you're grumpy, you know, I think you need to take a step back and look at, you know, what is this experience to me? What's going to make this a positive experience? What kind of mindset do I need to be in to be able to be flexible? Because people make mistakes in the sky. You've got to be able to adapt and enjoy the experience as best you can. I think that's the basis where I come from extreme sports. And you might have a different perspective on that, but yeah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, like, I was just thinking there's people that it's too hot to skydive. It's too cold to skydive, right? It's
like,
too
let's just
sunny
jump.
to skydive. It's too this to sky. You're like, dude, why are you even here? Like, you shouldn't even get out of the bed.
Yeah.
If he's gonna sit here and complain, that's wild that those people even exist. There's not that many people that do that. Well, where were you jumping mostly?
I mean, I've seen it.
What's your home DZ?
Here.
Where?
Well, it's San Marcos.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We all know they have a reputation. They had a reputation.
Yeah,
for
I think
having that kind of attitude.
True, but
around the
it's
drop
not
zone.
it's not just instructors or anything like that. It's
Right.
actually
It
just
was the
general
crowd.
people.
Right. It was the vibe there. And when you
Mm-hmm.
go to other drop zones, people notice it's a different vibe at other places.
Yeah, I wish I had the experience to see that kind of diversity.
Oh, you stayed only there?
Uh-huh.
All your jumps have been the same drop
Yeah.
zone? Oh, geez,
I
man.
know. Okay,
My students jump at 3 different drop zones, mandatory. We travel through these other drop zones and other planes because you can't just have experience out of one kind of door because you're going to show up somewhere else and have no idea what's going on when they have a 182 or an Otter or a Skyvan, and you don't want to be the guy. Do I just jump?
You got to be humble no matter where you're going. So
Yeah, and it's good to learn, but you learn so much, and what you got to realize is there's good people in the sport at every drop zone. So there's a huge community of skydivers, and the sky's the same over every airport. It doesn't change. It doesn't. And the altitude doesn't, it all works around the world. So I invite everyone to be a skydiver, not a Texas skydiver or a Cali or a West Coast or an East Coast or an Oklahoma skydiver. Just be a jumper. You need to get around. There's like 5 drop zones around you.
there's what is it? Lone Star and
Temple, there's Lexington.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I got a car. I got a rig. I'm gonna just show up.
Oh, man, that's all you do. Show up. Hey, what up? I heard about you on WazzyCircus Radio.
Yeah, baby. I will give you a shout out. I will.
No, man, but for real, like Lexington has a total different vibe than any other drop zone I've been to, right? And it's right there, Texas skydiving. It's amazing. Shout out to Dave, man. Like it's so in learntoskydiveaustin.com. I own that. I've taught a couple people how to jump. They're getting their licenses and shit, right?
Really?
I'm taking them from zero to hero, right? We start there, and then we end up at Lone Star or San Marcos, jump the turbines. We start at the little drop zone, and all of them go back there. They don't care about big planes and altitude.
Yeah.
They want to be at the drop zone where they feel like that's where they want to be if they weren't jumping.
So important.
Oh, it's so important to have that vibe. And a lot of places don't really have that family vibe, right? Where this place does. This place is like you're going to bring food to grill. You know what I'm saying? It's more than jumping. You might get on a load,
Yeah.
or you might do 5,
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Is it's community.
Yeah,
It's
it
the
has to
tribe.
be community, the tribe. Yeah, flight community. That picture you sent me, like, yo, flight fam, son, right? And it's everywhere. And the more drop zones you go to, the more your flight fam will grow, right? The more skydivers, we're in. You risk your life for somebody on that plane,
Yeah.
right? When you crawl in, you'll meet somebody a few years from now, Caulen, and they'll be like, dude, we didn't jump together, but we were on the plane at so-and-so.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, brother, boom, right?
Bonded.
Even though bonded, done, family, cool. So you've been skydiving for 2.5 years, but before that, you were a race car driver and a motorcycle racer.
Yeah, amateur, but
But, track days and
yeah.
going after it.
Taking it to as professional a level as you can without being professional
Right.
and being paid for it. I have a lot of experience helping train and manage Indy 500 winner Alexander Rossi, and so I know what the requirements are for being that competitive, and it's addictive. It's an extreme release, and it's super creative, and it brings together a lot of different aspects of self-growth in order to be able to handle dangerous situations with grace, and constantly working on self-growth, constantly every single corner on a racetrack improving yourself. And there is no perfect line. There is no perfect lap. That doesn't mathematically exist. And because there's the law of diminishing marginal returns, there's the law of exponential That's essentially what you're playing with as a racer. You're playing with the law of diminishing marginal returns, where it's like, if I sacrifice my entry a little bit so I can get a little bit better drive on the exit of a corner, how much of that sacrifice in the beginning is going to grant me better exit speed for the next straight? Or if I'm not sacrificing the entry to a corner, but so I'm coming in faster, but my exit is slower. What is the balance to give me the best lap time based on that? And so as a motorcycle racer, I think it's a little bit more dangerous, but also exciting, because you're playing not necessarily on a horizontal plane that you are, in 2 dimensions with, a car. You've got lean angles to consider.
Right.
And knowing how to judge the actual slip of each tire so that you can properly rotate the bike. And you're gauging that with your knee on the pavement with a puck that allows you to feel the surface of the tarmac. And it's the most unreal feeling ever. And it's like with anything that you start, especially for skydiving, it takes a level of patience and humbleness to really lay the groundwork for your foundation to excel. But that takes time, like in any sport. And that's the cool thing I love about what you do, which is you train and help so many people start from zero. And, obviously you've been able to take that and progress that to its absolute potential. I mean, you can always go further, but where you're at is a place that, 99.9999% of, the human race will never be able to achieve.
Well,
and
thanks, Caulen.
Oh, it's
that
awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, you're a badass, dude.
I didn't waste my life. Isn't that cool? I thought I should have went back to school a long time ago. Maybe I should.
You've already done more than most people ever will.
Thanks, man. Yo, this is kind of a little off subject, but the puck on the knee, right? Is it just on the knee, or is the entire calf that's covered when you're sliding on the road, on the bike when you're leaning?
You're in a full
you're in the full leather suit,
yeah.
But the puck's a hard plastic, right?
Yeah, they're these little replaceable Velcro puck patches.
Okay.
Because you're gonna wear that thing down.
Yeah. Have they ever come off in a turn?
Not on my suit.
Okay, the Velcro holds.
But some people's they do.
Have you ever gone down? You had to have gone down.
Very minor, stupid things. No, nothing serious.
You damaged your bike pretty bad?
Not really.
Oh, good. It just
Not
slid.
really. I've been racing for about 10 years, and I'm very, very careful about progressing in a sustainable way. But mistakes happen. Will Smith, his whole recent message lately, if you check out some of his Instagram videos, is fail often, fail successfully.
Right.
Don't be afraid to fail, because that's what's going to propel you. That's easy to say when you're not but when your failures ends up in broken bones, it's harder to swallow,
right?
Than
Yes.
than maybe other things. But failing financially, it can work in any facet. That's just as scary for some people as breaking bones.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'd rather fail financially than break any more bones.
Yeah.
I'm done breaking bones, I hope. So.
Do you have any stories of that?
Oh, yeah. I've fucking been skateboarding since I was 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I've broken both ankles. I've shattered a knee. Skateboarding got me.
That's my brother's sport.
Is it? Yeah, I love it. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I love it. I love it, man. I don't ride anymore, though. If I do, I ride bowls.
Besides being married and having children?
Yeah, and all that stuff. All that stuff, too. But for skateboarding, no more street for me.
Yeah.
I used to do handrails. I was big into handrails and stair sets. I used to love just 6 sets and just big kick flips and shit. But I just got hurt so much, man.
Yeah.
So I just big bowls now.
when I hit 30, I really started to see my body slow its metabolism down.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to approach things differently. You've got to be more. You don't heal as fast as you were when you're 20, and that was the beauty of what my facility was able to offer me and the other people who use it, which is you can cheat the system. You just have to treat your body right. You have to stimulate it in the right ways. Your body wants to have homeostasis and heal. You just have to give it the opportunity to.
All right. So back to healing. I'm really interested in everything you've got going on. I don't know if I want to talk about the laser lights, the sauna, the infrared sauna, or the oxygen tank. I want to talk about the sauna because I want one. And I read about it in researching you, like how, because I sauna 4 or 5 times a week for the heat shock proteins, right? I do it in the morning before I go to work. I write jokes while I'm in there.
What do you do?
I sauna in the mornings.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to, heat shock proteins, 15 minutes, get you in. You're supposed to have the I love it. I sweat out all the whiskey. You know what I mean? I do it after my workouts in the morning. It gives me a lot of time to think. It's helped me deal emotionally and with anxiety because you freak out in there.
Everybody,
it's fucking hot. I'm like, oh, well.
It'll push your limits.
Yeah. So, I'm really interested in the infrared aspects now, the light therapy.
It's amazing. I like to describe infrared energy like the power of the sun without UV.
Okay. So explain to them the infrared sauna for me.
Right. So if you think of spectrums of light that you're exposed to from the sun, why do we limit our exposure?
Because of the UV rays, like you're saying.
Precisely. And UV is wonderful for the body to a certain level of exposure, especially if you're getting UV exposure on your core. That's where you're able to metabolize and photochemically convert light energy or UV into vitamin D.
Okay.
So that's really, really important for your body in terms of a vitamin for you to...
So let your belly feel the sun, huh? Warm your belly with the sun.
That's why the beach is so damn amazing. Seriously.
That is it, huh?
You always feel great there. And you're connected to Earth. Your body is literally a battery, and when you connect to the mothership,
right,
you're getting the full dose.
Right.
So infrared, if you remove the UV, because you can get plenty of exposure of that outside. If you remove the UV and you're exposed to far infrared, which is a lot of the rest of the wavelengths that you're exposed to the sun. It's an invisible heat, and your body absorbs it at a deeper penetrating level, and it literally stimulates the cellular energy that your cells run on. You have between 40 to 100 trillion cells in your body, and they need to produce in the mitochondria, the living organism within that cell, every cell, adenosine triphosphate.
Right, ATP.
ATP energy. And so if your cells that are weak or damaged or depressed, they don't have that energy, they're not going to be able to produce the DNA and the metabolism to function and heal your body and reach homeostasis. And so infrared energy does a couple of different things simultaneously to recharging that ATP production in your body. It stimulates vasodilation, which is blood flow. And that's allowing for wonderful circulation, higher oxygen absorption, which is essential, higher metabolism of the cells, which is nutrient absorption. So it's filling the gap of the energy deficiency of your cells. And so then it shifts to another spectrum of, okay, well, now I've got enough energy. Do I have the nutrition? Do I have the hydration? Do I have the oxygen to supply these cells to maximize their potential? And that's where we use other modalities to fill those other gaps, because breathing is important.
Right. Yes, it is. Yeah. So, so do you still sweat? Because you say it's a no heat light.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. You sweat more in an infrared sauna than you would in a traditional sauna, but you won't feel as depleted because you're not just squeezing the life out of your body's cells from moisture and hydration. You're actually energizing them. So as long as you're reintroducing electrolytes, minerals, and potassium, and all of the essential vitamins that you need, and good nutrition, you're just gonna be amped up even further.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, there's some depth for you on that.
No, that's awesome. I really like the machine and what I've read about it, and they're not that crazy expensive.
So that's like the science, right? But like, how does it actually feel? You know, when you step out of the sauna. Personally, I just feel much less anxiety if I was experiencing that. I have more energy. I literally feel healthier because of that energy penetrating deep into your body. It activates a more effective release of toxins, and it's really interesting because your body is constantly producing a certain amount of cancerous cells. That's just how it works. Right. And so we have to be able to tip the scales and win the war on inflammation and detoxification of those cells. So how do you do that? You know, exercise, nutrition,
right. Yoga.
Yeah, you know, anything for the mind body is helpful, but those are, you know, the big ones. And the infrared sauna will flush out the ones that are hard to get to, the cells that are hard to get to.
Because from what I've studied, waste removal is what ages us. The cells can't get rid of the waste products, the toxins, and they sit around on the outside of the cells, and that's what degrades the cells. So yoga, the twisting of yoga, the moving of hardcore sports, and the sweating and getting rid of the toxins is what keeps us young.
Totally.
Right? So that's why I love the sauna. I'm like, get out of me, right?
Feels so good.
It does, man. The oxygen chamber. So for you guys haven't seen this, it looks like a I don't want to say body bag. It's like a tube. So it's a little submarine looking thing the size of your body that you crawl in. I remember on E.T., you guys remember on E.T. when they had caught him and he was all sick and they zipped him up in that like little oxygen thing? You remember that? That's what it looks like, son. There's a window. Yeah, but it bathes your body in pure oxygen in all your skin. Your skin absorbs oxygen. Is that true? Because, you know, they tell people in skydiving when they first jump that you don't have to breathe because you're going so fast, the wind goes through your skin. You ever hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can absorb things through your skin, but the primary mechanism is breathing it. But there is an effect on your body when you are exposed in a hyperbaric chamber, or let's say you're a diver and you're going down, you're experiencing levels of atmosphere increase in pressure.
Right.
And so that by itself will stimulate more circulation. And when you're breathing in a higher density oxygen atmosphere, you're going to have higher oxygen absorption.
Okay, right on. I see what you're saying.
All right. So that part of the equation is allowing for higher cellular function to speed up, especially if you did the infrared sauna before. You're jacked up on ATP energy, and now you're going to super oxygenate your body.
Right. You're
going to the next level of recovery at that point, which is why LeBron James travels with one of these things.
Does he?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Many athletes do. And I have NHL players who use our facility exclusively as their total recovery needs for their acute and serious conditions. So like they deal with a lot of head trauma, concussions, like let alone, you know, just the amount of attrition that a regular athlete sustains. You know, they're also fighting on the ice. Yeah, fuck yeah. So they're getting head trauma in many different ways, whether it's falling on the ice or just slamming into bodies, or maybe they're taking punches. Punched.
Yeah, fucking A. They're like boxers that play football.
And how do you sustain a career like that? Or, you know, that's why we have a lot of MMA fighters or boxers who are members. And it's like, you have to go, you know, you have to go to the next level of self-care. And really nourishing your body, and the hyperbaric chamber works for head trauma and and other cognitive functions or traumatic brain injuries and things
Just because of the oxygen absorption, is that beneficial for the cells?
Oxygen absorption, circulation. It is interesting because there is an effect of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which actually mobilizes stem cells in your body. And, you can go and get bone marrow extracted, in a very invasive procedure,
Right.
run that thing through a centrifuge and start replicating cells and re-inject those into areas of your body as stem cell therapy for your retirement
Right, yeah.
funds. But you can actually get a really easy stem cell therapy just by doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And so your body is sending stem cells to wherever it needs.
There's just research on this?
Yeah, so one of the things you'll find a lot, you can take a look at our website. If you're under the hyperbaric oxygen therapy section, you'll see lots of links to research. But if
That
you
is
do,
amazing.
oh yeah, well here's a story which I really like, which is drowning victims. They're suffering from a loss of oxygen for
Right.
a certain amount of minutes, which causes brain damage. And actually, the cases that you'll find for research, if they're using hyperbaric oxygen therapy and they're doing it soon enough, they can actually reverse that damage 100%.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, and that's happened quite a lot with kids, falling in pools
Babies,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
So is this the exact chamber, not the exact, but something like this that they would put a diver in that has they came up too fast?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not the same.
When you're going as a diver and you're coming up too fast,
Yeah.
you're having a need to release nitrogen from
your blood.
right, and so there's these waiting periods as you're ascending,
Right.
so that can clear. And every breath that you take, you're doing that process
You're
of
releasing some of the nitrogen.
But
Because it's expanding in your blood as the
Yeah.
pressure gets less, so you have to get rid of it because it's a potent.
so you need a full medical grade hyperbaric chamber that can go to the depths that you were diving
So
at.
they can. That's why they're metal, because they have to produce that much pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go to 1.5 atmospheres, but so for all intensive purposes of general wellness, that's going to give you huge benefit. But if you're, in the most serious case, a diver with the bends with nitrogen,
The bends, yeah.
then you've got to go to a hospital for that one.
Yeah. Oh, wow, man. So next, I want to talk about the laser therapy. Is that, you're so excited about this stuff. Hey, how would that differ from sitting in this infrared sauna?
Great question. There's lots of different infrared technologies that you can get your hands on. You can get like an infrared wand, and or you can do like a facial infrared LED system. Those are nice. Any exposure to infrared is wonderful for your body, but by our clinical needs that we have at our facility for treating major deep tissue musculoskeletal conditions, those are absolute little toys.
Okay.
So you got to take it to what's known as Class 4 infrared laser therapy.
Okay.
And so we use a really...
Class 4. It's like the fucking Death Star or something.
Class 4
Okay, yeah.
infrared laser therapy.
So that means it's more focused, it gets deeper.
Higher powered, focused, specific wavelengths of light. And so, let's say you've got a herniated disc that's bothering the crap out of you, and you've been dealing with it for years. Maybe, and we see this all the time. It's like they've been to chiropractors, they've been to do dry needling, or they've done acupuncture, or they've done a little bit of ultrasound on it. The doctor wants to put a fusion in it, and they're trying to avoid surgery. 9 times out of 10, your body can heal that by our experience and what we get reported back from our clients who are pre and post surgery, with their surgeons reporting this information to us.
From the infrared. from the whole body
from
experience?
From using our protocols.
Okay.
So, you know, our system of infrared laser therapy will literally blast your energy, your cells with infrared energy, feeding that ATP production, increasing circulation, and boosting the energy of the cells so that it can just heal itself.
Gotcha. Mobilizes the cell.
Yeah. You want your body to do the work. It's better at it than
anybody. Some guy with a scalpel. So how often a week would somebody have to do that to get benefits?
Let's say it's a serious condition. We would recommend being really aggressive with it to start. And as you start to experience measurable pain relief, measurable range of motion increase, then taper it off, and then gradually just do maintenance level until the problem is resolved entirely or it's at a really manageable condition.
Could somebody go from cryo to the sauna and then to the oxygen? I mean, can you overdo it?
If you're improperly hydrated,
right?
If you're improperly nourished, if you're feeding your body really crap fuel.
Because I know your boys got to be in there playing with all that shit. You're not there, I'd be like, zap.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to do an infrared facial or zap my tendonitis or whatever you got. We have a pretty grateful staff of employees. So
yeah, that's pretty good. They were stoked to be there.
Yeah, you can do, to answer your question, you can do these treatments in combination. Generally, by our experience, they work better when you do that. So
I could see that'd be fucking awesome. Just a full day, get some B12 shots, cryo it up, lay in the oxygen, get some infrared. What's the magnets in the back? What's that room in the back?
The dungeon?
Yeah, and it is like a dungeon. It's all bricked off and shit. You're like, what do they do back here?
Yeah.
He's got hoses on the wall, like he can like meat hooks and shit. I was like, what's he doing?
We do have. Yeah. I don't think we can really discuss what we do on air with that room. No, it's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy.
Okay.
And many people have heard of like E-stem electrostimulation, which is a nice form of stimulating blood flow for surface conditions, but people try and utilize those for deeper tissue conditions. And by our experience and requirements, that's just insufficient for deep tissue serious conditions. So we have a clinical grade electromagnetic pulse that your body's exposed to. It's a healthy electromagnetic pulse because we live on Earth and we're exposed to Earth's magnetic fields, which is known as the Schumann's resonance.
Okay.
And that's why the battery that the human being is when we're walking barefoot on the earth, grounding ourselves, is literally feeding ourselves negative ions and electrons to recharge our cells. So we just get higher cellular function. It's,
from walking, just simply touching the ground on your toes, toes in the grass. That's why it feels good to do it, huh?
Especially when you wiggle your toes. You wiggle them all.
Yeah, the grass.
Dig
why
your
not?
toe in the ground.
No, that's okay.
So the pulse that we expose you to is a replication of that wavelength of electromagnetic energy. So it is literally recharging the cells. And that's like the most, and it's opening up more blood flow. It's recharging your cells. It's opening up more blood flow, better circulation.
Boom.
Faster healing. It's if you want to go deeper into the microbiology, I'm happy to go there. But for all intensive purposes, that's really what's happening. And usually after like a 30-minute session, there's immediate relief, as is the laser too. The laser, it takes 10 minutes to deliver a standard dose of what we need to supply for a treatment zone. For the PEMF is the acronym for pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. It's 30 minutes for a treatment. So
that's so nuts, man.
So yeah.
So comedian Neil Brennan, I don't know if you know who he is. He was a writer on the Chappelle Show.
Chappelle Show.
Yeah, super funny cat, super depressed. and he does magnetic pulse therapy on his brain.
Yeah, transcranial stimulation.
Yeah, is that something similar to the PMF you got?
We can do that.
Really?
Yeah, on the low setting.
Really? He had positive results from it.
There's studies that actually prove it.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely.
And you have it at the shop?
Yes.
It's just one of those connections you just pull off the wall and put on your head?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw the things.
There's
right?
a specific protocol.
Of course.
Your brain is a sensitive instrument in your body, and the tissues absorb energy very easily. So you have a very, very minimal exposure of a low wavelength, and it's or low strength, and it's for 5, maybe 10 minutes. If you were to go beyond that, your cells would need to be hydrated, and it's just like you might get a headache if you did too much of it.
Okay.
So 5 minutes on a very low setting for transcranial stimulation is plenty.
And it just revives your...
It's doing exactly what it does to all of the other cells in your body, which you have between 40 to 100 trillion cells in your body. The cell itself is contained by the membrane.
Right.
The membrane's
insane in the membrane.
Literally, this is where you got to be sane in the membrane, right? And so the interesting thing that most people don't know of is there's a negative and a positive charge on the inside and the outside of the cell membrane.
Okay.
And so if you
meiosis, mitosis, that's how things transfer through.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah. So if that charge is weak, damaged, or depressed, hydration, nutrition, oxygen can't get through that.
Right.
Waste can't get processed out of it.
And there we go with the toxins.
Toxins can't be.
Yeah, it ages and it kills the cell. So it regenerates through magnetic pulses and hydration.
Yeah.
How do you hydrate your brain?
Well, you drink water.
Just water. I know, yeah, you probably have like a shot. You just hydrate your brain right here. So you have a marketing background.
I have a marketing background. I have an engineering background.
And how did you get into the medical? I was training athletes, I guess.
Well, it was just always a passion of mine, and I worked with a number of different startups, beginning with right out of college, Fiji Water and Palm Wonderful, and yeah, that's a really good first exposure to well marketed, healthy food in a sea of energy drinks that have like artificial flavors. That there's no studies for what these artificial sweeteners do to your body that are super conclusive. Are you willing to put that risk on the table for your body to see how that affects you over time? Nature is always the answer.
Right.
Always answer. So I started into a series of different businesses which were health focused and trying to sustain high-end athletics. It was just a natural, cohesive path.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
And we spoke before. Your ambition, like a lot of new skydivers, is wingsuits.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. It's pretty rad. I've got almost 200 wingsuit jumps, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, they're amazingly fun.
And are they all? Are any of them base jumps?
No, not yet. Not yet. I've got 35 base jumps, but they're all off of like objects in the middle of the night. Yeah. Wingsuit base, not yet. I've got some friends, Charity and Brad Perkins. They travel the world and jump off shit. DBC, y'all might know DBC, Dallas Base Crew. It's amazing. You can track, right?
Yeah.
Flying a wingsuit's just tracking. It's really simple to get into. It's really hard to get good at. And I came to a point where either I learn how to free fly or I'm going to be a wingsuiter forever. Because a lot of guys wingsuit because they can't free fly. It's the truth. I don't care if y'all get mad.
I can see that.
Yeah, they try it. It's hard. They can go buy a $700 dress and look cool. They just grab that and go fly around with their friends, right? And they put a fly side on. It's easy to take the byway out, like to spend money to look cool instead of putting the time in. And wingsuiting, it's a lot easier to spend money and look cool, right? Because nobody sees you in the sky. You're just on the ground in this thing. You get all this glory. Till you get in the sky, you're nowhere near your friends.
Yeah, dude. Exactly.
Yeah. But I would love to wingsuit with you.
I would as well.
You've got, what, 130 more to go?
Oh, yeah, dude, I got a ways. And I think that's going to be a good opportunity to just strengthen my game because I want, it doesn't feel good to skip steps.
It's retarded.
You will feel it, you'll know it, and everybody else will know it. And it will translate to some extent, I'm sure, like having a really solid free fly background and, being able to control situations that you may come across with wingsuit flying that you need to be able to handle.
Are you trying to take it to base? Is that your goal?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? It's beautiful looking in it, right?
Think about it. It's like the most insane, beautiful way to combine human potential and nature.
Yeah, man. I feel the same way. It's a man.
You know the guys...
Or a woman, but it's a human being flying those lines with unpowered. It's his body. It is a beautiful thing.
As unnatural as it is, we're so meant to do it.
What is that? Because we don't have any, like if you're pulling a bow back, there's some instinctual thing that you can connect to. We've never flown before that we know of. But sometimes you're in the tunnel and you're skydiving and you're like, this is perfect. This is what my body was made to do, right? And wingsuiting is the same way. You get in a zone where you're in a slot and you're flying and you're like, I can do anything. Yeah. I can go anywhere. I am in control. It's like snowboarding. Once you get snowboarding and you're not thinking about it anymore and you're just hitting the line down the mountain, it's one of those out-of-body kind of experiences. You know what I mean? And you'll get it in a wingsuit and free flying. A good angle dive, you're not there. You're watching it. You're just fucking... You're going to, if you were consciously there, it's too much to think about.
Right.
It'd be overwhelming to think about if you move your foot, you're going to collide with somebody. Right? And I'm going to take that to this week's Friday Freakout.
Oh, yeah. I want to see what this is all about.
So a Friday Freakout's put on by jointheteam.com. I love skydiving.org was the original website. People submit close calls. It's called the Friday Freakout.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't know what this week's is.
You might have just given me my new addiction.
Oh, you got to watch them all. Just put it on autoplay and just learn. They're valuable.
We'll be putting it on at Cryo Body Works.
Yeah, they're valuable. What, is it froze? Oh, no.
Okay.
Our internet sucks back here. I don't know what this one is, but they're the craziest videos. The last one we did was these people launched a 3-way out of a caravan, and as the jumper got out, he scraped his rig on the door and popped his pin.
Oh, Jesus.
And then he rotated under the group, so there was 2 people on top of him. He's on his back. The bag wraps around his friend's leg, flip it around, whips him out.
What?
Yeah, Friday Freakouts. They're excellent for learning. So when you crawl out of the plane, protect your shit, son. We'll protect your neck. Protect your pud, son. You know what I mean? Protect your gear. It's your life, right? It's very important that we do this. Oh, man, I wish that video would play. It's a 20-way. Look, it's a 20-way. Something goes wrong. Yeah, join the team, man. You guys are amazing for this. We love it. I talk about it all the time. Need to put these things on the chive somehow or some shit. Oh, Friday Freakout's not playing. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get back to it.
It's going to happen.
If
We'll jump to it when it shows up.
So you built a car in high school and raced it? Like you built a car like on a team, or you just said, fuck? So
it's basically like a mini Formula One team.
Okay. Is that the black car, the black and orange car?
No, I don't have it actually. It's if I had a picture, it'd be on my Facebook, maybe on Instagram. But it's essentially Society of Automotive Engineers is a collegiate program globally for students to collectively design, build, and race a Formula car. And that happens at competitions globally. Our first competition was in Fontana back in 2008. 2007 was when I got involved with it. And then we competed and hauled and shipped our car, which had some really great design concepts to it. To
you
England.
Guys built it from the ground up. It was all you guys.
Fabricate and lay all the molds for carbon fiber, CNC, all of the different components in the car.
Where'd you go to school?
Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So it's like beach town, but it's basically the same rank.
San Luis Obispo.
Oh man, it's like Santa Barbara, but a little bit. Oh man.
California.
Yeah, it's it's as California as you can imagine. Like
Right.
we have Fridays off, we go to the beach. Like we're not studying,
Right.
or we're like hitting the mountain bike on these epic trails, or there's windsurfing.
Right. So how'd you end up in Austin?
I'd lived in LA. I had a lot of experience and family in San Francisco, and I'd moved back closer to where I'm from, which is close to Lake Tahoe.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing.
You've had a fucking magic life, dude.
I'm still going, man.
Shit ain't over, baby.
We're just getting started here.
Yeah.
And the drop zone out in California is one I would love to skydive at, but you need a lot of jumps to be
Which
able
one?
Truckee. Truckee is right on the outside of. It's the coldest place in North America, I think, and it's right outside of Lake Tahoe. So when you jump, I think the elevation there is like 8,000 or something like that. So you do need a lot of experience before you jump there.
Yeah, because if you're going to 10 or 12, it's a hop and pop.
Right. So imagine
You only go up 3,000 feet, and you just got to dump. That's a quick skydive.
Yeah. Plus, the air density is so much less.
Yeah, there's like nothing. You're coming in hot. It's like Colorado.
So I moved to Austin because it was obvious that it was one of the most vibrant cities in the country, and it was only then, like back in 2011 when I moved, it's transformed even from that time to now tremendously. But I feel it's only getting better. There's sacrifices in other ways, but it's amazing.
Yeah, the population's out of fucking control.
The traffic's gotten better in some ways though, and it is improving. 183 is getting more reworked.
Yeah, they're putting work in, but man, it takes me 10 minutes to get out of my neighborhood sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
You turn around the corner, there's a sea of cars. You're like, oh, fuck.
But we now have Uber and Lyft that have transitioned their business models into Bird and Lime scooters.
Right.
Do you like those things?
So Bird and Lime are owned by Uber and Lyft?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they are. I know at least one of them is.
I think those are fucking ingenious.
I
think they're dope, and we want to go do it just to do it. People are using it for life. I want to just go cruise the Capitol.
We take it to the skate park.
Oh, that's the shit. So you live downtown?
No.
No, okay. But what, you just park, grab one, and go, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty badass. Are they everywhere?
If there's not a bike lane, you can use the sidewalk.
Okay, that's the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that gives you access to wherever you want to go.
The entire city. They look like so much fun, dude.
And they're cheap.
It was like a quarter a minute, a dime a minute or something. Or a nickel a minute or something like that.
It's taking less cars off the road, or it's taking cars off the road, and it's more fun. Yeah, you got to be careful on them. I've seen some bad accidents.
Have you seen some? I know they're coming.
Mm-hmm. But I think they're not the deaths of people in cars. There's
right.
I would think it's overall better in many different ways.
That's pretty rad for like the future of cities, because they're electric. I guess when they get low, some guy in a truck comes and gets them and goes and takes them to a charging station or something, right? And they're just all over the city.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, man.
I was on them yesterday.
I would get mad though if I like pull up somewhere to get something to eat and I park my shit and I went inside, somebody's like, ding.
Yeah, dude, that's why it's like playing like a mini Grand Theft Auto or something like that.
Oh, I can see that. You're just like looking for fucking vehicles.
I'm gonna organize a little kind of a rally or something, or a race, when you gotta find some Easter egg across the city.
That'd be so
and
dope.
Then, you get a prize or something.
You gotta at least transfer 3 times. Like you gotta find them. You can't take the same one.
Yeah.
All right. So I started talking about the car. Then we got sidetracked. But so in college, the SAE, that's what right?
Yeah, we're
the
back
Society
on that.
of Auto Engineers, you said?
Society of Automotive Engineers. You basically design, build, and fabricate your own race car.
Who pays for that? Are there grants?
Fortunately, the engineering college paid for it.
Oh, that's dope.
The different educational grants that go into different programs, which is so awesome because these cars, probably would cost anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 in materials.
Right before the build.
Maybe including labor as well, but So it's, if you have a cohesive team with people who are really dedicated to the mission and intelligent in how they craft the design, you can produce something that's really magical. The first time you step into a Formula car, even if it's like a go-kart, or even if it is a go-kart, you're pretty amazed with how much grip and capability that car is. Like you're gonna experience a lot of G-forces, and so it just felt like I should have been born in it. It just felt like, oh,
right.
This is where I'm
What
gonna live.
constitutes Formula?
That's a good question. It's the formula of regulations that surround how to build a race car. For Formula One, they have a lot of different restrictions and regulations to make sure that the
So
cars
it has
are
nothing to
safe
do with
and-
fuel or the engines per se.
That's a
It's-
component.
Yeah, that's a component of it, but it's not like they're racing a different fuel, and that's why it's Formula One.
Right.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. They got like a jet fuel or something.
Yeah, they do special additives for their fuel and stuff, but
Okay, it's the formula the car was built on.
yeah, the formula of regulations that surround how to put the how to design it, essentially,
Okay.
and build it.
Right on.
So for our formulation, we have to have a certain wheelbase, and we have to have a certain it has to be open wheel. It has to have certain safety regulations, but that's the beautiful thing about like Formula One and other things that engineers can come up with and be innovative and creative in how you can look at the rules and you can stay within the rules, but you can be creative in how you gain a performance advantage. And so our performance advantage, which was an excellent idea, was to be the first collegiate team to introduce aerodynamics into it. When you're driving a race car, you're limited with the amount of grip that you have and G-forces that you're capable of sustaining in a corner. And the way you get around that is with downforce.
Downforce, right?
And you want to limit
So spoilers and the wings in the front.
exactly. We used street bike engines for these things.
Okay.
So you're putting I have a Yamaha R6 track bike. You would put one of those engines into the car, or you'd put. Our team decided that they wanted to put a dirt bike engine in it because it was a little bit less weight.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, guys, you're trying to produce a race car with a solid rear axle with downforce. The way that a solid rear axle works is as you turn into a corner, the inside wheel has to lift up because there's no differential to account for the difference in speeds as you rotate. So it's kind of like I think it's a bit of a podunk way to make a race car, but it offers weight savings because you don't have the extra weight of a differential.
Right.
But that, by my standards, that wasn't enough to make the difference for the performance that you would get if you just had a real differential, a bigger engine, because when you're using downforce on the rear of a car, you're pushing it down. But if you need to lift the inside wheel, that's an equation that just doesn't work.
Right,
and so
you're working against yourself.
we really would have won the competition in England at Silverstone, the F1 circuit, against like 60 other teams from around the world, including like the best ones from Stuttgart, where Porsche is like helping these college students produce the best race car ever. We would have won it, but we went with like a crappy dirt bike engine and a solid rear axle, and it just started hopping and skipping in the middle of turns. And
Did you not test it before you went?
they were really behind on their test schedule, and
Gotcha.
I'm like, oh man, this is like.
What an experience, though.
It is cool. Ross Brawn, he's Ferrari. So when Michael Schumacher was winning all of his championships in Formula One with Ferrari, Ross Brawn, he was the head of Ferrari at the time. He's the team principal, and he later then went to Honda, and he then became part of Mercedes celebrity status, and he walks in and starts like inspecting our car.
Oh,
and
shit.
like you're shaking hands with Ross Braun, and it's just amazing to see like his intrigue on your little college project.
Right. No, that's badass, man. So, what's next for Cryo Body Works? Are you going to add any more treatments, or you just want to get the word out and what's going on?
There's more things that I would add, maybe at a second facility, but we're 4 years in, so I want to grow this carefully. I want to get the awareness out about it because our capabilities are so advanced, and we have all of the, check our reviews out. You'll see what we're capable of, from bone fractures to meniscus tears to just general recovery to stuff that to like articular cartilage damage, where orthopedic surgeons and other doctors haven't had success, or other therapies haven't had success. So we want to build on Austin's awareness of what we're capable of, because if Austin knew what we were capable of, we would be overrun. But there, at the same time, cryotherapy is a relatively new market, and so there's a lot of places that just want to get into this as a business because it's exciting, but they don't necessarily have the experience or the background to really make it about the healing. It's more about a business, and we differentiate ourselves in that way. And so we've seen a lot of places shut down. A lot of places exploded for cryotherapy in Dallas, and Austin's a little bit behind in the market here. And now we're seeing a lot of places in Austin, because we were the second facility and the first facility in Austin to offer cryotherapy that met the city's approval for public safety requirements, because we're dealing with liquid nitrogen to turn it into a vapor, and that allows us to get a wonderful effect that we need. But a lot of places have closed down because they just don't know how to market it, or they haven't had the kind of success that we've had. So we want to just be careful about how we grow. Mm-hmm. And I'm constantly coming up with really good success cases, but how we share that is something that I'm finding is my biggest opportunity right now.
And how do people find you on the webs?
Yeah, I mean, if they're driving right by us on Mopac, they'll see us, of course. But if you're online, you'll see that there are a ton of different cryo facilities. We are the highest ranked facility. We do have the best reviews, and you'll see us on the top charts there, which is nice. So it shouldn't be hard to find us if you're just looking for.
And what about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, we've had a pretty.
So just Cryo Body Works?
Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
Right on, man.
Thank you for one other thing I wanted to talk about, actually, and I wanted to give you this. Thank you for the shirt. I think it's absolutely amazing. It was really hard to pick because I liked them so much. You got this like cosmic element to it, and I had no idea that the painting that you did with Axel and what was her name?
Yoko Kozaki, Axel Zolman. Shout out.
Those were the first people I flew with at iFly.
Yeah.
And you had them on your shirt. And
yep, that's them. They used to compete on Team Axis 21. Axel Zolman was a hero to me. He was a free-flying motherfucker back in the day.
Yeah.
And so was Yoko. Yoko's like she's a celebrity. In Japan, she's a complete celebrity.
What?
Dude, she's got so many commercials of her like doing skydives with like cell phones and computers and shit. Lots of commercials, dude. You can Google it. Yeah, she's out there. So yeah, that painting is called Fire. It was dedicated to them because they had passion, man. And Axel got me the job at iFly. He's the one who hired me.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty fucking cool, man.
Well, on that, I wanted to give you Cryo Body Works CBD tincture.
CBD tincture.
Yep.
Okay, so CBD, is it pure anti-inflammatory? What's the deal?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really know how to utilize the plant of cannabis or hemp.
Right.
What is it? Like most people just smoke it, and really, the best way to absorb the nutrients, the only way really is to actually ingest it in the plant's most natural form. And so CBD extract allows your body to absorb the CBD because it's essentially a superfood vitamin that you're able to ingest as a central nervous system nutritional support tincture.
Really?
Yes. And so it's packed with vitamins, terpenes, magnesium. Your body has a receptor, a bunch of receptor sites in your body in your central nervous system for absorbing these nutrients. And really the only way that you do that is by ingesting it. And so if you're having inflammation, these CBD will drastically help with that. And it has a wonderful effect for anxiety, sleep, producing much better relaxation.
Really? So what, a couple drops under the tongue, I guess?
Sublingual, hold it there for 90 seconds. You'll have a lot of bioavailability. And then after that, just swallow it, or you can add it to whatever you need. I will guarantee that we have the highest purity, the highest potency, and the most affordable CBD that you'll find in the Austin area.
Cryo Body Works.
Yeah.
For your CBDs, baby.
Yep.
Is there a website where they can order these from you?
Yeah, they can come in, or you can order it online through cryobodyworks.com.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Right on, Caulen, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
It was a pleasure, man. That was super fun. That was fucking educational. All I normally talk about is like parachutes and nonsense.
I can't wait to do that with you.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, you'll have to come back. Sorry about the Friday Freakout, guys. We're going to watch it after this because you got to check them out. They're fucking crazy, man.
I'm down.
All right, guys, join me again on WazzyCircus Radio. Learn to skydive. It'll change your life. It saved mine. See ya. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun, man.
Yeah, let's go!